Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. Here I am at Somerset House in London. It was built from 1775 to 1803. It's neoclassical in style, and originally it was government offices. So the Navy Board had its offices here, as in administering various affairs to do with the Navy, supplies, promotion, pay, and things of that nature. And then later in the 19th century, other government departments were based here. At that stage there was a tax on newspapers, and all newspapers published in the United Kingdom had to come here to be stamped to show that the tax had been paid on them. And that was a great liberal cause, that people no longer have to pay tax on newspapers. Plus it's quite impractical for newspapers from the provinces to come all the way here to be stamped to be sent elsewhere. I don't know if that applied to newspapers from Ireland or Scotland or things like that. And even into the 1950s there were various government offices here to do with taxation. Someone told me how his father, who was a functionary, was working here after the Second World War when he was in the civil service. Anyway, it's called Somerset House because previously the Duke of Somerset built his townhouse on this site. The Duke of Somerset being Edward Seymour, the maternal uncle of King Edward VI. And the Duke of Somerset, he had that title because he owned a lot of land in Somerset. Aristocrats usually took their title from where most of their estates were, not from their surname. I said usually, sometimes it's their surname. The Duke of Somerset was Lord Protector for the first couple of years under Edward VI, because Edward VI was 9 years old when he ascended to the throne. So his uncle was supposed to rule on his behalf. But I won't be distracted by this, but anyway, the Duke of Somerset was overthrown and executed, and there's a new Lord Protector. But that's why this is called Somerset House. None of it is original. As I say, this is all from the 1775 construction, what you're seeing now. These days, it houses the Edmund J. Safra Gallery, which is rather behind me. After that, very well-known private banker who donated a lot of money to the arts. A bit of King's College London is here. There are a few cafes and restaurants. The Navy Board Rooms, which is a historical exhibit of when the Royal Navy had its administration centred here. And there's a bit of the Courtauld Gallery, and there's the Courtauld Institute of Art. In the winter, they often have an outdoor ice rink in the middle. So you may have seen a film called The Duchess, starring Keira Knightley. She plays the Duchess of Devonshire, this very well-known late 18th century aristocrat who was a prime mover in the Whig Party. Despite women not having the franchise at the time, she was very influential indeed, and had a notoriously unhappy marriage to her husband, an arranged marriage with him. The film is a bit misleading because she was 17 when she got married. Well, you might guess that from the film, but he was 26. So yes, he was older than her, but not enormously older. The film, starring Ralph Fiennes, makes it seem like he was a middle-aged man when he wed her. And then she took a lover who was later Earl Grey, the Prime Minister, and gave birth to his child. But anyway, in the film, this place, Somerset House, stands in for a stately home. And especially if you just look at one side of it, it's actually quite credible. And if you look carefully, you'll see the little faces carved in above the archways behind me. And if you look higher, you'll see their various muses, angels, the royal coat of arms and so on. So this is Somerset House. It's overlooking the River Thames. It's beside a street called the Strand. And the Strand was called that because it's the old word for beach, of course. And many centuries ago, the Thames came right up there. It was the Thames flowed about 500 metres further north than it does today. The Thames was kind of restrained, and various dams were built and flood relief channels, which is why there's no longer a beach at the Strand. That Somerset House, do pay it a visit.